Hello, everybody. We're going to do things a little different today. Today, we're going to capture snippets of projects and maybe moving a little faster just in case you want to see some ideas, but don't feel like sitting and crafting along and don't need the long version. Let's see how that goes. So we're going to today make a set of coasters. So I'll show you what they look like. Well, where'd the other ones go? Oh, for the love. I lost some already. Whatever. Typical, right? I got these set of Halloween coasters. Inexpensive on clearance because Halloween is well over at Joann. And so I'm putting down a base coat of acrylic. And it's, God, look, it's so old. Just an acrylic paint to start with the base. And then we are going to collage and make some fun. And I think we're going to do these ones sassy again. So let's do some sassy, fun coasters, and we'll see what we end up with. All right, base coat on the back is done. Don't need one on the front because we're going to be covering that all up. I pulled out a couple of papers that I think are pretty. Just thumbed through my stash a little bit, and then I remembered I've got all these fun pieces of paper that came from a Temu pack. Gosh, one of them isn't even open, I don't think. I don't know if these are stickers. These might be stickers. Some are stickers, so no, these are paper. So I've got some different ones. These might be a little big since we're working on a small surface, but I do think that we can pull some of these and or dig through this. I already got a couple out there, so maybe we'll just dig through those. I've also got stickers. Look at, I keep making our pile bigger when I say I'm not going to. So, all right, let's get these set off to the side. And I'm thinking we'll use some more people. I'm having such a good time with those. So maybe we can pick a few. We could put a gentleman. I don't have a particular thought. Those guys are cute. I don't have a particular theme or a thought other than we're gonna have snarky because that is fun stuff. Let's see. Kids. I'm thinking an adult might be nice, or at least an adult lady. There's a couple. Of course, I did get, I pulled all the singles out here for I just stopped talking in the middle of my sentence. I pulled the singles out so that we could make butterflies for our other project. How about those? Individuals. We can always add, we can even add more. We can do more than one person on there, should we choose to do so. Get that out of our way. So what we're gonna do, maybe we'll use stickers. We probably will. I don't know, we'll see. We do have a lot of paper here to choose from when we're working with a small surface. We can't get too crazy. Well, I mean, we could. What am I gonna say? Matte medium. Shake this guy up. And I think what we can do, obviously coasters need to be pretty flat, but we can put some fun stuff on our holder here. If we want to go ribbon 3D, not inside because that could get wet. So these are going to be towards the end. Let's get these out of the way. We'll do one and then I will take a little video break and do the rest. So how are we going to, oops, here, first, always coffee. Cheers, coffee first. And set that aside. Oh, get it out of the way. I got stuff strewn all over everywhere. All right, so a couple of things. We're going to use matte medium as our glue. If something doesn't stick down well, we can always add a little bit of the art glitter glue. Super sticky, super fast drying. Matte medium is not a sealant though. It is a glue. It can be it seals in a layer. It is not enough of a sealant for long term. So I did some reading, and there's spray sealants and polyacrylic and all of those. But guys, a little can of polyacrylic at Walmart, $22. I think not. Not for a couple of small projects. So I got the Mod Podge gloss. This is a sealer. It's advertised as a sealer. A lot of folks online, this is what they use. So this is what we're going for. So when we get done, we're going to put a glossy finish on it. But in the meantime, as we do our collaging, we are going to use matte medium. Here we go. All right, so first, get that out of the way. Well, no, we need it. Okay. I like all of these colors. I grabbed a couple of big pieces just because the pattern kind of grabbed my attention. And then I've got these scrap pieces. I'm going to just start ripping. I want smallish pieces. And I want rough edges, just because I like rough edges. So we're just gonna, we'll do, so they're not all straight on the same side. So we have pieces that we can use on different, this one's, oh, do you like them? Doesn't matter, we're just gonna rip. Different sizes. This is a little thicker. This one might need some art glitter glue. And maybe we want some strips, but we might do that with the other ones too. So we're just ripping for layers. Oops. Well, don't matter. We can use that. I don't know why I said whoops. We're tearing paper, guys. There's no rules. This is a one that we used on one of our candles, and I really thought it was very pretty. These guys, I'm not going to rip these ones. I'm going to leave those. Let's do some long strips of book page. We have talked about it before, but it is important to remember to read, at least skim what this is about on these book pages. Voters, I don't see any, I don't see any bad words. I don't see any violence. Oh, look at the other side's got, oh, that might be even better. We'll figure, we'll decide. We will decide. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start putting these in little piles or areas or containers. I don't know how this, oh yeah, I do. I dumped buttons in this thing and there was glitter in the bag. Oh, I was so mad. Not a fan of glitter anywhere in my workspace. It's pretty. I like to look at it, but man, not my favorite thing to deal with. All right, so we're gonna say, and it's not the most interesting thing in the world to make piles and do like whatnot like this, but it does help when it comes time to assemble your projects, especially if you are doing multiples and you want them to be cohesive. So for ours, we've got 4 plus the 4 coasters plus the holder. So we want to come up with a formula or a layout, whatever you want to call it, that can be repeated. There'll be different components for each one, but the formula and the layout is going to be the same. That's how we're going to get a cohesive project. So we've got dictionary page here. Just setting them off to the side. We'll pull them back in. We've got book page. We've got patterned paper. We could even go, that's floral patterned paper-ish. And then we've got repetitive pattern. Set those off to the side. And then let's rip some of this. Which way do we want it? I like it with the white edge. I guess it doesn't really matter because the pattern goes either way. So we're just going to get ourselves some strips of this. That on our repetitive pattern. We got enough of this that maybe we want to keep this separate from the yellow and the pink. All right, so plenty of those pieces. Sometimes, if you're like me and you tend to go completely overboard and be ridiculous, it's nice to put a limit. So right now we've got our little ticket type paper. And we've got, oh, here, I forgot these. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 layers, or 6 elements. And I think that we are going to find that that is plenty. But I love this. And I want flowers. So we're going to go ahead and put these on anyway. But I think with these, not necessarily fussy cut, but let's be a little more intentional. Let's call it that. I'm going to cut them out in a more, I don't know, determined way. I think this is a piece I got at a thrift store, so I have no idea what kind of paper it is, or well, maybe it says on the back. Oh, look. It is Color Box Memory Craft 16658 12 by 12 floral. I have no idea how old it is or anything of that nature. So, there we go. So we could potentially, you know, put one on each coaster, maybe 2 of the bigger ones on the holder. Definitely these would be holder. I'm just gonna, because they're big, I think, oh, that could go on. No, stop it. Make a decision. They're going on the holder. I'm gonna put those right inside the holder. Okay, we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements plus people plus sayings. I think we're good. With one exception, we need a background. So let's pick a background. I'm gonna grab a couple of napkins and I will be right back. Okay, found a couple of options. Now, anybody else get so excited when they're digging through a drawer they don't use very much? When I first started doing mixed media, I used a ton of napkins and I don't reach for them as much anymore, which is really kind of sad. I didn't even know I had these. I was like, oh, I forgot all about that. This store isn't even open. It closed a year or two ago, and I got it before, and that was after it moved. So these are both so pretty. I've got 2 sets to make, so I'm thinking I will do one set with one and one set with the other. So let's see here. Do we got 4? Yes. So we've got 4 picture pan. Oh my God, that's gorgeous. I love it. 4 picture panels. And yeah, it's really bright, but remember, we're going to be covering some of it up. We can also gesso should we decide that we want to do that. You know what? Let's challenge ourselves and go with this, because this is something that we don't ever. This is not a style that we typically do. So let's see. Let's see if we can make something cool out of this. So I'm going to refold it and just give myself 4 panels. Now, we do have to take the layers apart, and you might be thinking, wouldn't it be easier to take the layer off all at once? That is probably true. However, when you cut your napkin, that didn't even go all the way through. When you cut your napkin, the center non-edged layers, they've got these perforations to hold them together. It's so much easier to pull the corners from the middle of the napkin. Now, I know a lot of people, they get their finger wet to do so. I don't find it that difficult when you're doing it this way. So napkins either have 2 or 3 layers. If you have, these are a decent quality. If you have a decent quality, you're for sure going to have 3. Sometimes there's only 2, but a lot of times if you think there's only 2, there's actually 3. So, and these can be used as white tissue paper later. We want this all the way down to 1 layer so we can get a nice smooth application. So we're going to do 1. I don't remember what I said. Like, we usually just go through the process, so I forget what I said about this whole doing 1 and coming back. This is all a new format for me, so we'll see. We'll see how I do. I'll probably forget to turn the camera back on for some of it. Oh, gross. That's got some goopies in it. I shouldn't be surprised. Okay, so because it's such a small surface, now you can use a silicone based, or a silicone, it's called silicone brush, it doesn't have brush. And here's the benefit. Whatever layers are left, they peel right off and you're starting fresh. It's fantastic. You're not going to kill brushes, all of that. When we're dealing with a small surface like this that we're not covering a whole bunch, I like to use my fingers because then I can control it better. So I'm just going to start adding this on. And we're going to go over the top too, so it's okay. And depending on your comfort, you can do small sections at a time. So let's lay this on, make sure we're all the way to the edge. Now we're just going to pat that down and smooth it out. If it has some wrinkles, it's okay. No big deal. I'm just going to smooth that out. I'm going to pick up what hasn't been glued yet, and I'm just going to put some more. Make sure we get all the way to the edges. We could do the top layer on the other side first, but then if you lay it down, it's going to get stuck. Like if you let that piece go, then you're in trouble. So I'm not that careful. I'm not that coordinated. I need to go this way. So we're going to gently pat. Rubbing does not, patting, light rubbing is fine. But you don't want to go heavy rubbing because you will lose. You'll rip. Why'd I say lose? You ain't losing anything. This might be bright enough that we want to put some gesso on. I don't know. It might be so colored or so layered on the top that it does not even matter. So I'm being very careful. This is going to give us also that in-works seal between layers. So what that will do then, if you want to stamp on top of this, there's going to be enough of a seal between the layers that it's not going to like soak into. It's going to sit on top of. All right, if I do much more, it's going to overwork it and it's going to start ripping. So we're going to leave that. I shouldn't have done that on the inside of the lid. Oh, for the love. I don't know how people keep these things from gluing themselves closed, because mine glues itself closed every single time, because it doesn't matter how careful I am about washing the lid every time. All right, so we're going to make sure this is super dry. So we are going to hit it with our heat gun. And you don't have to go real long, but you can see it's still shiny. That means you got more to go. Don't hold it in any one spot. It will bubble. But we need dry before we move on. Otherwise, we will have rips. Now, if you get a bubble like this, or you just have a little bit more, you can do a couple of things. Dab it ever so gently, or cover it up later. Either way. Right, I am starting to see that there are spots that might be getting a little warm. It's just, maybe we just got a little too much glue in those areas. So very, very lightly. If you get it too sticky, or if your fingers are still sticky, you're gonna pull that up. We don't want that. The tiniest bit of shine left. All right, one more time. All right. The important thing with this, I think, too, is the extra 10 to 15 seconds that it's going to take. Totally worth not having to try to fix it later. So, easiest way to get our edge even, there's a couple different ways. You can get it wet and it will gently pull. You can just try to tear it. That will also work. My favorite way is that you can use a nail file. Now, different grits for different things. I'm going to try the lightest grit that I have because this is so thin. And you'll see you just go at it at an angle and look at how nice. Perfect edge. If you want it to be more grungy and like get down to the wood, then you can use something like this. There are sanding discs that you can get for your daubers. But for me, I think I'm feeling a little bit of, oh, see, you can see the eyeball through. Doesn't matter. We're going to cover all that. For me, I don't need to spend more money on something that I already have right here that works just fine. And you can get these anywhere. If you want multiple grits, you can typically get a set of more than one of these in different grits just at the dollar store. I'm feeling a little bit of sticky. Not a lot, but a little. Okay. So we've got our whoa bright background, but look, see, when we start putting things on top of it, it's going to be covered and it's not going to be so obnoxiously bright. So that's why we are okay. Okay, next, I want my edges to be good and dark, so I'm gonna go ground espresso, and it looks like that is the dauber that I have. So I only have a few at like 3 of the handles, but what I did was I put oh gosh, come on now, words, Amber, words. Velcro, the Velcro dots that you can get at the dollar store. I put them on a couple pieces of paper. I labeled each one for each color that I have, and I put these up there so I can easily see which ones I have on my daubers because they're the ones with the empty spaces on my little list. So that is Vintage Photo. This is Ground Espresso. Let's do our edges. And if we want to get darker, we can go over this as many times as we want. Maybe we decide we want scorched timber. No worries. Just want to do, and we'll go around that again when, you don't have to do that at this step. You can do it at the end. Obviously, you're going to have access to the entire outside of this the entire time that you're working on your project. I like to get an idea of what it's going to look like when it's done. And this helps me do that. So I'm liking it. All right, next, let's decide what order we want to put things in. And we could even look at, this came out of those coasters. We can even write it down. Where's a pen? Give me a pen or a pencil or a something to write with. Here is a pen. That one has not even been used. Did I get it? Oh, cripes. Actually, you know what? These go in my journals for my show. So that would be kind of a jerk move, wouldn't it? To open that up and use it and then have it go dry on somebody who might want to purchase that. Jerk move, Amber, don't do it. Okay. So let's see. We've got, let's just write down our formula because I'll forget. We've got flowers. We've got a pattern. We've got oh my God, you guys, come on. We got pattern. We've got geo pattern, small. We've got geo pattern large. We've got dictionary and book pages and we'll just call them mini tickets. Mini tickets. And we know that the ladies, the people and saying are last. So I mean, we probably didn't need to write that down, but we will because we're just we're trying to come up with something repeatable here. So I think we want the flowers towards the end. What if we put some of these bigger ones, and we're gonna do all the edges. Kind of feel like we need some geometric, and we might need to rip bigger pieces. I like the large geo pattern in the background, so we're gonna do that first. How about then a pattern too? Let's see. So this is our pattern. So we're gonna have that somewhere in the background. Then we're gonna go like this. I kind of want, I think, a little bit more of the green, a slightly bigger piece. So let's just get ourselves one, but shall we? Let's just grab one. We use our scraps, so it's fine. I kind of feel like I want something more like that. That will be more of an anchor. And then we're gonna put one of these patterns on there. Do we want it sideways? How about sideways? I kind of like that. Let's see. Do we want to go geo pattern small right next? Let's. Okay, so 3. Let's go a dictionary page. And you can pile these on however you like. 4. Let's do our book page next. 5. A ticket of some sort. Yeah. 6. And then we're going to put our flowers somewhere. 7. Then we'll pick our people, we'll pick our sayings. Let's just go that way. Geopattern large, big piece. Let's just make a note. Big piece. All right. Okay. So we got a formula, we got an order. Now, we're just going to see where this takes us. I'm going to kind of keep it like this because I kind of like how that was looking. So, just in general, keep that together. And let's start inking. Now you can cut it if you want. You can trim it with scissors after, you can trim it with a knife after. Anything is totally fine. Whichever way you want to do it. I do find that sometimes, this paper's not that thick, sometimes the paper's so thick that it's just easier to use scissors. But this isn't so thick, so that's fine. All right, let's open this guy back up. And I do want to get, because it's thicker, I want to be a little more careful with what I'm doing here. And we're going to have lots of layers, so we want to make sure that each one is well and secure. I'm feeling like this would be a good layer to add a little bit of our glitter glue around the edge, at least. We can see where that edge is. Come on, art. Let's go. What? But you were well sealed. What the heck? I think this guy just keeps getting more and more testy over time. I'm sure there's a, like, every so often you can clean it on the end. I'm just going right here along the edge. Glue seepage is not going to be a problem. Not too worried about it. You don't want, I mean, you don't want it terrible. If you get a big lump like that, you can just wipe it off. But if it bothers you, and you want to get it off right away instead of just letting it sit for a while, you can use your pokey tool or a wet wipe or something to just kind of move that around. That is fine. All right, so our pattern was our next one. And as we're going through our book to pick our sayings, I think we will be able to, as we see ones we like, we'll just put a little mark. And so as we're trying to make our decision, we'll remember the other ones that we liked, so we don't have to rethink every single time. We use some of our brain power. Remember, this stuff's going to be covered. Are you going to get messy? Probably so. Do we care? No, we're having fun. We are having fun. If you don't like to get messy, that's okay too. You can use a brush. You can use a glue stick. I go with a little bit of art around the edge, because it is a thicker paper. Let's see. And so what I'm looking for is an interesting combination of lines and layering. They can be in different areas. That's one of the nice things too about ripped paper. You're never going to have exactly the same, so even if you do the layout the same, it's going to look a little different. All right, dictionary page. This guy we said was next. So phlegm, okay. Bones. No, I'm not worried about it saying bones because it's clearly a medical dictionary. It didn't say dead bones. It said bones. We all have bones. It's okay. All right, and we kind of liked him. How about down here? This one is very thick. The other thing you can do is just put it right where you're going to lay it down. And then come back, spread out what you got, and then if you have any that didn't get well stuck, you can always use your tweezers, pull it up a little. I personally like to do it right on the paper itself instead of on the base. I just find that it does not hold as well, and it's faster to not have to go back and fix it later. Okay, now at any point here, if you want to do a different kind of medium, say you want some stamps on this layer, you totally can do that. Well, let's do that. I don't want it though to bleed and seep. So here's what I'm going to do. First, I'm going to write on our little thing, dictionary, and then we're going to put in a stamping layer. And because we're going to do that, I want to seal this. Let's see. We can go ahead and use this. I can show you the different ways, different techniques we can use. Just spread that right over the top. Seal everything in. One of the other fun things to do after you seal it in is if you want to add some shadows, any of that can be done. However, I will say this, I always get a little worried about it being spread out enough, or if I missed any areas. So I like to spread it around with my finger anyway, because then I can see what I've done. I can feel what I've done. It's probably a better way to put that. So, I'm going to give this a moment to dry. I'm going to grab some coffee and I'll be right back. Okay, this is well and dry. I'm going to stamp with archival because since we're sealing this, we are putting something wet on top, which means if you have your distress inks, they are going to react with the water. So I'm going to use non-reactive and I'm going to pick some numbers because that's what we like. We like numbers. Pick in black. You can pick any color you want. Some of these will be covered, I'm sure. Let's go with a circle. And this does not have to be our last layer of stamps. We can do more. So, but you can see it's not bleeding even into the napkin, which is extremely porous because it's a napkin, right? That's what it's supposed to do. All right, next is our book page. So here's our book pages. Let's pick this one and we can decide where we might want it to live. Kind of like it here. And do we want these? As much as this is cool, I really like the bigger. So we're just going to trim that edge. We're going to get back to our ground espresso. Should I be closing up my glue and all that stuff? Probably. Am I gonna? Probably not. Sometimes I go rogue on the rules. I get mad about it later. But, you know, sometimes I just do. So, you know, we also have our glass mat here, so we could just go like this and then wipe it up when we're done. And we're going to go here with that guy. We said we liked it this way. You can turn it sideways, you can put them upside down, you can do whatever it is that makes you happy. All right. Book page, mini ticket. I had this one pulled out. Is this okay? Should we just go ahead and use this? How about right there? And maybe we'll leave these straight lined. That is okay. I think that's okay. We could even cover part of, let's make sure that, yep, these are papers and not stickers. Let's ink up those edges. And you will see that as you go through and you do these, they're going to get faster every time. It's not going to take 40 minutes to make each coaster, I promise. We got a lot of the initial setup done. I put more glue on this than I needed. It's not even going that far, but that's okay. Dark edge. Let's put just a little art glitter here for extra. Come on. I know I didn't close you and now you're angry at me. Just for a little extra hold. I have to find a better way to clean that out. Okay, got our mini ticket, and number 7 is our flowers. I've decided to fussy cut these because I think we got a lot of random edges, and having a little bit of precision, I think it's going to look nice. So that's what we're doing. All right, now where do we want this? Let's say we're going to use this lady because it's the first thing that I grabbed. I like her here. Do we want this right behind her? Or do we want it over here? Up top? See, I think it's gonna look cool anywhere. So it really does not matter. We'll probably put the saying could go all over those places. I kind of like it over here. Well, nope, then it's upside down. We're gonna go over on this side. Oh, indecisive. Right there is where it's going now. Gently, well, I'm pushing it down hard, but I'm not, you'll notice I'm rocking my finger on it. I'm not dragging. We don't want to drag. Okay. Now let's test our theory to see. Well, that's well sealed. We know that. We don't have anything like plasticky. If you try to use something like with a PET covering, it's not going to take the ink unless you do stays on, which is certainly an option. Do we want more stamping? It's hard to say no to stamping. I'm going to go ahead and close this up because we are using thicker elements going forward, and so we know, oh, I was going to do in black, wasn't I? I could have done the backgrounds in brown. Oh well, we're doing it now. Let's just do it. See, that's the fun. You just do whatever. Some are black, some are brown. Who cares? We're having a good time. Having fun, having fun. All right. I want this to go over the flowers so you can see that it's on top. Okay. At this point, I feel like we should go ahead and get our edge back to where we can see it. I don't know what that was, but it looked gross and questionable. I'm going to use on this thicker paper this heavier grit. And as it comes off, we will be able to see if there are any places that need additional glue. And like I said, if you want it to look rugged and you want to add, you know, leave it with some pieces that are ripped, or you want to sand down to the wood, that's okay. Totally go for it. You make these as grungy as you want because we're going to seal them at the end before they're ever used. You can see there, look how easy. So much easier than cutting. So there's that. I'm still going to re-ink all the way around. So it helps my head know where we are. And I enjoy knowing where I'm at. All right. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of loving these. It's fun. I like it. All right. Let's ink up our lady a little on the edge. We want to get rid of that white core. That white paper core. That kind of just makes it stand out maybe more than what we want. All right, now see her. She's standing out well from the background, so we can see her just fine. I like that. Now let's pick some sayings that we might like. How about if I pause you and I pick a few and then we go forward? All right, I think we're ready. So I've got 8 that I think I enjoy. Oh, we could put a big one on the holder, but that's okay. We're gonna do one, then I'm gonna go through and do the rest, and then I'll come back and we'll take a look at what we ended up with. Then you don't have to wait for me to have all of my thoughts. I don't know what was in here, but whatever it is, it looks to be coming out. Disgusting. Let's get that off of there. Yuck. All right. Here you go, my lady. And we could go around if we wanted and make some shadows around her. I don't know. She might be just fine without one. All right, so how about this is my cup of care. Oh, look, it's empty. Let's go with that one. Now, we need to decide. I think we'll just do 2 lines. Let's snip this guy. Whoa, cripes, what a mess. All right. It's that one, and we're gonna put glue on the back, so it is okay. My fingers are relatively clean. That's a good thing to check before touching these white ones. Right. Little bit of inking. And if you are worried about getting these dirty, these are good ones. This is a good thing to go ahead and just hold with your, see, my fingers weren't that clean. Gross. Good thing it doesn't show. All right, so. Tap that guy down. Now we've got glue seepage, so this is a good time to go ahead and take a damp wet wipe. I see people do this. I hope it's okay. Looks fine. All right, so there's that. Now this guy. Why am I making this harder than it needs to be, guys? Because that's what I do. All right, ink. I'm gonna hold it while I ink. Just because it's easier. Grab him here. Add our glue. They're sticky, but you know, you don't want these things coming off. We're just gonna put that right here. Push it down, little bit of glue seepage. Just pull that off. One last squash. And I think we are good. Now, moment of truth on the ceiling. I think I bought a big, let's close our glue. I bought a big paintbrush specifically for this. So we'll see how that goes. Let me see if I clean this off, if that helps with the grossness on the inside. I could just be stuffing more back in there every single time, which is pretty dumb. Okay, open her up, see what we got. Cheap brush, nothing fancy. Walmart, like a couple of bucks. All right, please let this work. I'd be awful sad if it doesn't, but we're learning together, so here we go. Brand new, not even opened. Is there a place that you're supposed to grab it? Probably not. We're going like this because we just do what we do. Toss that here. Let's get the rest off as much as we need or want to mess with it. Jeez. All right. Now we're going to do thin layers. All right, guys, let's hope that this works just exactly how we want it to. We're going to go lots of different directions. Just to get it all over, and then if we've got some areas that look like it's covered with too much, then I think we're going to just pull some of that off. We'll lightly get like that, make sure we don't have any, like puddles. So I'm gonna let this dry. I'm gonna do a few more layers and then I will be back and show you what we end up with. All right, couple of tips that I have learned while doing this. Oopsie. Make sure your hands are super clean and you don't have any glue left over, or you will be on your fingers from before, because otherwise you'll be picking glue boogers off your project. If it touches it, it's sticking. I wasn't a big fan of the brush strokes, so it is easier and you get a better, if you want a smooth finish, definitely use this guy. For sure, no question. It is sticky, but it does feel like the sticky is kind of letting go. I did do 3 layers on the top here. It's feeling nice and smooth. I don't see any missed spots. I'm going to let this continue to dry, and I'm going to move on to the other ones. Also, you can use, I use eyeglass cleaner and baby wipes to clean my surface. It took a little more elbow grease than maybe a regular glue, but it does work. And then for these guys, I'm going to see if it's easier if I seal them first on the back, and then I can just do the layers and let them sit. So I'm going to play around with these guys, and then I will come back and show you what we end up with for the set. All right, quick little check in. Here we've got some progress going. I think we're looking okay. All right, well, that took so long that the phone died, so that happened. But here's what we ended up with. We've got our 4 coasters and our holder. We just got some little decoration on the outside, sealed up. And here is our first one. And we've got these lovely ladies. This fine gentleman who wants you to stay away. And these guys. So, the stickiness has gone away. Now, these aren't waterproof though. So, they're water resistant. You can wipe them down. If you want full-on waterproof, what you're going to want is to do like a polyacrylic or like a varnish spray, something to that effect. So thank you guys for hanging out today. I hope you had some fun, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.